Hey friends, Barkey Dog here, back with another movie review. And I'm here to warn you, I'm gonna be controversial with this one. See, this is my controversial face. Because this time, we're taking a look at a movie that has been called one of the biggest flops of all time. Namely, The Adventures of Pluto Nash from 2002. Our story goes like this. It's the future! Pluto Nash is a former smuggler just out of jail. He visits a friend on the moon and he takes over the debt the friend owes on a small rundown nightclub. Over several years, Nash transforms it into the hottest place on the moon. Everyone loves Pluto Nash, and he seems to be a friend to all. One day, some bad guys turn up to make Pluto an offer he can't refuse. The big boss wants to buy him out. When Pluto refuses, they blow up his club and he becomes a marked man. Pluto goes on the run with Dina, a sexy nightclub singer he just hired, and his outdated android bodyguard. Nash must confront the big boss before it's too late. Will Pluto Nash succeed in his quest to get back his club? Will he and Dina find love? And where can I get one of these French-made androids? In our cast, we have Eddie Murphy, of course. Rosario Dawson is the nightclub singer and love interest Dina. Dennis Quaid has a fine turn as Pluto's goofy bodyguard android Bruno. Jay Moore plays a Frank Sinatra-type Pluto helped get started in his career. And we have other familiar faces on hand as well, such as Louis Guzman as a smuggler, James Rebhorn as the big baddie's assistant, John Cleese as a Moon Cars AI unit, Peter Boyle as a friend of Pluto Nash, and Pam Grier as Pluto's mom. Alec Baldwin cameos as a Capone-like gang leader who's the big boss. All are a hoot to see in this one. So, why is this movie so reviled? What's wrong with this thing, anyway? Honestly, nothing. I mean, sure, Pluto Nash never hits the heights of Beverly Hills Cop or Coming to America, but I really didn't think it was that bad. Not as bad as people say it is, anyway. While it may not be a gutbuster in the laughs department, it does have some chuckles. The movie has some video game-looking CGI in places, but it has a lot of practical effects and miniatures too. I thought the lunar surface looked good, and the weird, run-down futurism of the lunar city was well realized. And the sets are phenomenal. There's this big chase in the opening third of the movie where Pluto Nash is after a bad guy and chases him through these back alleys and whatnot. All of this shot from above. It was unusual and looked really good. The guns are cool too. They look like regular .45s but seem to fire highly charged projectiles. There are a few pretty cool shootouts and stunts, and the action is fun. The movie moves along at a pretty good clip, and I like the cast. The twist ending was something I never saw coming, and I thought it was pretty clever, if not convenient. If anything, the movie seems to have been made too late. The original script was written in 1985, and this is a picture that might have been more successful if it had been made, say, in the late 1980s or mid-1990s. It does lack the immediacy representative of the time in which it came out. I always thought it was from the 90s for some reason, and it kinda looks it. Not that that's altogether a bad thing. The movie languished in production hell, going through many rewrites, with a work print that reportedly ran 3 hours long. After consulting a professional editor, he said it needed to be scrapped and reshot. Murphy had to go back and add and direct reshoots and additional scenes himself on his own dime to smooth things out, and after all was said and done, The end result was a 95-minute picture that everyone kinda hated. Murphy refused to do any press for Pluto Nash, which didn't help, as he did with another middling movie I've reviewed elsewhere on the channel, Best Defense. Murphy stated he only did it for the money and claimed he didn't care that it was a flop. If the movie were a success, I doubt he would have said that. As it is, The Adventures of Pluto Nash lost somewhere in the neighborhood of 92 million smackers, and the movie went down as one of the biggest flops in movie history. That is, until modern Hollywood said, "Hold my beer," that beer being a Bud Light, and started cranking out absolute garbage, like The Marvels, Birds of Prey, Charlie's Angels, A Wrinkle in Time, The 355, Dial of Destiny, The Eternals, Wish, and all of that crap. 92 million bucks is peanuts compared to what those movies have lost. In the end, I liked The Adventures of Pluto Nash. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. It's one of those movies that has such a bad reputation but is enjoyable anyway. Think Cutthroat Island. That one bombed hard, so hard that it bankrupted a studio. And yet, for all of the problems behind the scenes, or the bad reviews, or whatever, it's fun to watch anyway. Pluto Nash is kinda like that. So, could it be just a dash of nostalgia for another time? A better time? When movies were made to entertain an audience instead of lecturing to them. Movies that were more about having fun instead of the constant messaging and the perpetuation of a culture of victimhood we've had to endure for the past 8 or 9 years now. I don't know, but I found The Adventures of Pluto Nash to be refreshing, in a way. And what can I say? I enjoyed it, flaws and all. It moves along at a good clip, has some fun moments, great production design, good production values, it has a good cast, and it entertains. So I'm giving The Adventures of Pluto Nash 2.5 paws up. For what it is, it's way better than its reputation would lead you to believe, and if you've never seen it, go ahead and give it a spin. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.